and I can upload. Hello. All right, well, I'm going to keep working on getting the YouTube live streaming. We are slowly getting our technology sorted out, but welcome. I'm Dawn Beam, and I am here to do our continuing ed for our Heart Nature people and anyone else who chooses to tune in. And today, we're talking about weight management. And when I say that word, I know that brings up a lot of baggage for a lot of people. Literally, figuratively, weight is a loaded topic. And I just want to unpack a little bit of that topic first. Because what's more important than being a specific number on the scale is how we treat our bodies, how we treat ourselves. And that actually impacts our physical body and how it shows up and is able to manifest in the world. So as you tune in, as you join me for this walk through weight management, I want you to take a deep breath and release it. Release any judgments of yourself. Release any comparison to other people. All of us have these bodies with their own particular gifts and challenges, and they have carried us successfully to this point in our lives, and we owe these bodies a lot of gratitude. And the kinder and more grateful we are for our body, the more that our body will be able to positively respond to changes that we want to make to support it feeling better, having more vitality and strength and energy. And that's really the key. So I am going to ask you to embrace that kind of energy as we look at ways that we can support our weight. And whether you're like me and you have to watch the scale because you need to make sure that you don't lose too much, that you have enough weight for your body to sustain, or you're someone who somehow has had more weight than is best for your body, than your body's happiest with, we all are going to be working with the same tools, because really weight management is about supporting our body's best needs. And that doesn't change no matter what the number is on the scale or what the issue is. So I'm going to share a little slideshow with us, because there's some really cool images that can give us more goodness and more insight into things. Let me see if I can. I've got my keynote and I want to play it. Here we go. All right. And Christine, if you're on there and you could just let me know that you're seeing this too, that would be awesome. This is our third in our Taking the Education Beyond the Basics. And I want to let you guys know that there is a workbook that goes along with these. You can get it at Aroma Tools. It's about maybe $20, $21. And it has a lot of the information I'm sharing in here. And you can take notes if that's something that rings your bell. Okay, let's move beyond. We're on class 3, weight control, and I don't love the word control because I already have enough issues with wanting to try to control my life. Really, I want to manage and be in relationship with the weight in my body and with the way my body is supported and functions. So we're going to be looking at that. Last week, we looked at daily vitality. And we're going to revisit some of those because they actually really support healthy weight balance in our body. And next week, we're going to look at emotional health and mood management, my happy place, because it's been so important in my life, which also ties into how weight is distributed, held, kept in our body as well. So you're going to be supported all the way through here as we learn about these things. All right, let's look at this solid foundation. Each one of these steps in our pyramid, in our self-care, is important. And you'll find that as we go through healthy weight management and a healthy relationship with our physical body, each one of these areas contributes, which is really cool. The foundation one is eating right. So let's start there. Okay, now, as we look at this weight control meal plan thing, I just want to acknowledge an elephant in the room. I think almost everybody knows what foods are good for our bodies and what foods are not. We know this, and we don't always eat this way. And the reason for that, there's probably a lot of reasons for that. Sometimes it's just availability of the good foods. Many times it's our emotions and what our body is addicted to, either emotionally or physically, that is not as supportive for our healthy body. So let's just review some of this and know that as we look at some of these other tools, they're going to support us to come to a place where we are able to reach for these things more and where we desire to reach for these things more. One other tip I want to just encourage you with, I find this super important for me. In the past, I was very, very addicted to sugar and to carbs. There were a lot of reasons for that in my body. And I know that if there was candy there, if there was cookies in the house, I would be eating them, and I would eat them till my mouth hurt. So I understand that when you have it in your space, those things that are not beneficial for your body, it's really hard to avoid. And so one of the great things we can do is just remove it from the environment. After Halloween, I give my kids a week or so, which usually they finish up the candy. The rest goes into work with my husband for whoever else wants to have it, because I know if it's there, it's going to be a temptation. So creating an environment that's supportive is another great way to do this. We want to eat at least 5 servings of high water content, because hydration is super important for our body to absorb nutrients, to function in all sorts of ways, and to process our food. Whole fresh fruits and vegetables, awesome. Having a fist size, remembering that our stomach's the size of our fist, of complex carbs, which are more slowly broken down in our bodies. When we combine it with proteins like beans, they actually can make a complete protein, which is much more useful for our body than just carbohydrates alone. And starchy fruits or vegetables, which give us quick energy, but we want to make sure it doesn't take up a huge portion of our diet or of our food plan. Low-fat animal proteins. I know some people are vegan or vegetarian. That's awesome. Some bodies, mine is one of them, all my doctors, even if they were vegetarian, told me I needed to eat meat. And so I do. But the amount of meat is a lot less than what we usually get in restaurants. So just keep that in mind, that the portion of that protein is less than we might think it is. Okay, and then this much of sugar dressing, just your thumb, desserts, that is something that we're going to actually really look at, how we can support our bodies to crave less of this. Because I know that my body, if it gets going, and especially if I'm not feeling well emotionally or physically, I want more of this than a thumbs full. Okay, so we're going to look at some awesome things that doTERRA has that actually make this easier. So yay for that. First thing we're going to highlight is something called Terra Greens. I have it right here. And Terra Greens is a fruit and vegetable supplement. So we're getting more of these fruit and vegetables. Now, I wouldn't encourage you to replace your fruit and vegetableness with this, but use this to supplement, because the fruits and the vegetables, what's in the Terra Greens is the nutrients that our cells need. And I'll tell you this, when we have a nutrient poor diet, when we eat lots of food that don't have lots of nutrients. Think white bread, cheeses, things like that, the typical American diet, right? Our body still needs nutrients, so it's still going to tell us we're hungry because it's not getting what it needs. That's where this nutritional support can be really helpful. Okay, this also supports digestive health. I like to add this to my smoothies. Some people can add it to juice, but smoothies are a great way, again, of getting more greens, more berries, more of those antioxidants and nutrition into our body. So I like to have this. The ingredients are all natural and gluten-free, thank you very much, and GMO, and it's vegan friendly. It's not got anything that would be unfriendly to that. Just want to go back for a sec. Whoop. Okay, couple of things that I have heard feedback on from the Terra Greens. I have had mamas who were breastfeeding and who were struggling with milk production tell me that this Terra Greens was pivotal and really helpful for their milk production. Now, why would that be? Because their body's getting more nutrients. So this is a great one to do. I have very successfully snuck this into my children's smoothies, especially when you have kids who don't love their veggies or salad. It's a great way to get a little bit of extra nutrition in a really like whole foods kind of way. So great place to start with that nutritional foundation. Scooch through here. Okay, exercising. Now, I was working with my son the other night. He's getting ready to go visit a naturopath for some things, for some support for his body. And one of the questions they asked in their intake form was, what helps you feel better? And he brought up exercise, because it does. Exercise has a powerful impact on our bodies in so many ways. And one beautiful thing about exercise is it releases endorphins. It boosts our metabolism. It helps us burn fat and utilize the nutrition in our bodies. And it stimulates so many different things, including clearing out our lymphatic system and digestion, and feeling better emotionally. And when we feel better emotionally, we're going to reach for those fake foods, those foods that give us that hit of sugar, which fakes out the serotonin. So we will crave the sugary foods less. And for those of you who maybe your sense of hunger and satiation is not in tune with your body, like we get out of balance with that, we get out of tune with that. Exercise can be a way to stimulate that again. Now, a couple of things to help us get exercising, because when I'm feeling schlumpy, when I'm feeling like craving those things that I know aren't good for my physical body, exercise is the last thing on my mind. So yes, just like eating good foods, we know we should exercise. I want to give you a tip, and we're going to circle back to that when we come to the most fun essential oil blend for weight management support. But I want to just give you a tip that we can use our essential oils to help us get going and to help us feel good when we're exercising. Now, here's a couple of things. 45 minutes a day, 3 days a week for aerobic exercise, strength training, flexibility training, they're all great. If you're just starting out and you're like, oh my God, I cannot see myself doing this, I'm gonna tell you, if you choose to get on the calendar and exercise once a week, you're going to feel better. Sign up for a yoga class. It's a great way to connect with your body. And part of weight management is really learning to tune into your body. So I'm going to encourage you, start there if this is daunting to you. And go for a walk and start with 5 minutes. I had a friend who was had a lot of health issues at the time, and she went on a treadmill or went for a 3-minute walk, and she came back and she's like, I only did 3 minutes. And I'm like, you did 3 minutes. our body chemistry changes when we start moving. So give yourself 3 minutes and then work up to 5. And then you'll see yourself, I think I could do 7, 10. And if you slowly increase, you will find more success than if you choose to like pick a big plan like this and say, all right, changing my life, I'm going to do this today and I'm going to do all of this. Because what happens is our brains slip into all or nothing mode. And when we miss a day, when we're too busy, when we're too tired, when we just have too much resistance and we don't do it, our brain said, see, I knew you couldn't do it. You're a failure. You need to just quit now. And then most people just stop. So set yourself up for success. Start small and be consistent. Even if it's just a 3-minute walk around the block in the morning or a YouTube 5-minute yoga video, and just start there and mark it off on your calendar to show that you did it, because you're proving your success to yourself. And the longer you see the chain of X's that you've done it on your calendar, the more you want to keep that chain going. And then you could slowly add in a little bit. And there comes a tipping point with exercise where your body starts to crave it. My daughter and I experienced this. We did zombie trail running. It was fun. And it was just a little like YouTube, or not YouTube, a little video app we played that gave us a story to run with. And it helped us run 15 seconds, walk a minute, run 15 seconds, walk a minute. And that's how we started. And it was hard. But after about 3 weeks, and they increased the amount of time that you're running each time, we realized we were craving getting out there. And so I want to encourage you to do whatever it takes to just get started and be consistent. Don't look at what ideal is and say, I have to do that now. That's something you work up to. And you'll get to a place where you start looking forward to that exercise. You start craving it. And then you start making time on your calendar for bigger blocks of taking care of your body. So I want to just encourage you in that. Couple of doTERRA tools that you can use that really support our health and our exercise are the deep blues. So deep blue comes in so many different forms. The deep blue polyphenols is a supplement. It doesn't have those same oils in it. It does have frankincense and other nutrients that actually help with aches, pains, inflammation, antioxidant, which reduces the oxidative stress, which is what causes us to feel creaky and icky. It's a great one to just use consistently to support our bodies. And if you've overdone it in exercise, it's a great one to use maybe a couple more times a day. The Deep Blue Touch is just great to roll on. The Rub is a favorite of athletes, and you can proactively keep it in your gym bag, keep it with your sneakers, put a little bit on before you go out and exercise. It helps to warm the tissue up. It's invigorating, and it can be a trigger for your mind, the aroma and the feel, like to get you into exercise mode. So you can use it as an anchor. Because what we found in habit development is if we have an anchor that the body looks forward to, then we're much more likely to do it than if we don't. So I would also say add playlists of your favorite music when you're going to exercise, because music can be another anchor, another trigger of, oh, I want to listen to those songs and just jam out, and it's going to get your body ready to move. I'm kind of getting inspired. My daughter and I need to get moving more together, so I'm liking these reminders. Okay, lemongrass is another best friend for exercise and for the physical body as we start to get it moving. What's beautiful about the lemongrass is not only is it good for joints and ligaments. I have a shoulder that needs extra love, and I have a blend that I created, and I have it in a pump, and I just rub it into my shoulder so that those joints and ligaments that are trying to repair themselves have that added support. So, you know, if you have a piece of your body that's not loving the idea of exercise, give it a little extra support with the deep blue and the lemongrass. And lemongrass is amazing for our digestive system, especially if we have toxicities or if we have negative feelings, whether they're related to digestion or just the blah feelings where we're grabbing for cookies. Lemongrass is good for supporting our digestive system and our emotions to be lighter, to be cleaner, to be brighter. And so it's a great one you can do in a veggie cap, like they say here. I actually have applied it right to my belly with a carrier because it can, as you see here, it can be sensitive for some skin. And especially if you use it frequently, it can be challenging to, or you can develop a sensitivity. So make sure you dilute lemongrass if you're using it topically. Okay. Let's see, let's move on to, okay, before we get to toxic load, I'm gonna talk a minute because they skipped this in this slideshow. I'm gonna have to add a slide in. Rest and manage stress. Our bodies, when they are in fight or flight, when cortisol and the adrenaline and the adrenal glands are being accessed and used to keep us going, they actually stimulate fat creation and fat growth and development because those survival hormones are designed to help us survive difficult situations. And way back in the past, one of those difficult situations was starvation. And also when you are running from a tiger, you're not going to take the time to eat. So our bodies are designed to store fat when we are under stress. So if you're feeling stressed and you're like, I just keep putting on weight, ding, ding, ding. It is because of the hormones coursing through your body that's telling your body to hold on to fat cells, the lipid cells. So managing your stress, and like my son pointed out to me the other day, exercise is actually a way to manage stress. And especially if you do yoga or walking out in nature, those are beautiful additional ways to support our bodies with managing stress. You can know that that is supporting healthy weight management, balance in your body. So good thing there. Now let's move on to toxic load. When we have toxins in our body, another purpose of fat in our body is to surround and encapsulate toxins, to protect our cells from these toxins. So if we've been exposed to pesticides, if we've been exposed to heavy metals or other things, xenoestrogens in our environment, our bodies will wrap them up in fat and tuck them away somewhere so that they can't damage our body. And that is why doing detox, gentle cleansing of our body system, clearing out toxins, can also help us in releasing and letting go of some of the fat we may have packed on. So if you want to look more deeply into some of these supplements I'm going to talk about, you want to go back to our video on daily vitality. We talk about the Lifelong Vitality Pack. We talk about Zendocrine, the lemon, the PB Assist, the Terrazyme. All of these pieces, they can look overwhelming, but when you put it into a little system, it actually can be fairly easy to do. To do a cleanse, what we found is that doing a 30-day cleanse where you're kind of gently getting the body prepared for the first 10, I'm going to just show you a picture. Then you're doing an active cleanse where you're giving the body the GX Assist all the way over there on the right to help kill the bad stuff, clear out the toxins, remove and release the yuck for 10 days, because that's kind of a bigger cleaning house. And you know, when you clean house, like you do a spring cleaning in your home, you kick up a lot of dust, you're kicking up the mold and the toxins, and then you have to clear it all out. And our bodies can get a little inflamed even when we're cleaning our external home of these toxins. So imagine doing that same thing inside your body. So you'll want to just do it for a short period of time and make sure that you're supporting your body with these other pieces that help clear out the toxins, like having lemon in your water every day, taking Epsom salt baths, and so forth. And then the third stretch of 10 days, the end of this cleanse curve, is to add PB Assist back in. And that's probiotics, because those are the healthy gut floras that actually create serotonin, which is good for our happy chemistry in our brain. Which again supports us not craving those yucky things, because those yucky things are fakes that help us feel like we have more happy brain chemistry. So that PB Assist is a really important part of ending a 30-day cleanse. And what's really beneficial is if you are really trying to create a new relationship with your body, do this once a quarter. Do this every couple of months to help your body gently and slowly reset. The first time you do it, you may not notice a ton, because it's like peeling an onion in our health. We take one layer off at a time. If you try to strip 10 layers at a time, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna be traumatic. You're not gonna wanna do it. Your body's gonna respond with more inflammation, and you're less likely to want to do it again. So having a gentle system that you're doing this with is much more beneficial. So just as a review, which goes back to our daily vitality, the first 3 supplements you see here are great for daily maintenance. And if you're taking each of these first 3 every day as your foundation, giving your body the nutritional support, the essential fatty acid support, in Alpha CRS, you're giving the cells cellular repair nutrients to help them function optimally. This cleanse, and actually any changes you make, are going to be easier to make. The Zendocrine, the orange and white bottle there, right now doTERRA does not have that, does not offer that, and that's okay, because the Zendocrine oil blend is a great way to support our liver, our kidneys, our gallbladder, our digestive system to function optimally and to clear out toxins in a gentle way. I recommend that all the time. Terrazyme, another one that when I go and I look at research for people of what's worked for people for different health issues, Terrazyme almost always comes up. Because a large part of our problem, a large part of why we wind up with toxins in our bodies and imbalanced gut flora and digestive upset and issues, is that our enzymes are depleted and our body is having trouble breaking down the foods we have. So by giving our body Terrazyme, we're giving it support to break down the food into nutritional components that our bodies can use. So that's a real key. If you're having a green smoothie, that has enzymes in it. But if you're having pizza, steak, burgers, regular foods, our bodies are going to have a harder time breaking it down, and Terrazyme is going to be your best friend. Okay, and there's another little supplement here, a little essential oil blend that you may not have seen before, we haven't talked about yet, called Slim and Sassy. And that's recommended through the whole thing. And we're gonna dive a little deeper into that. Okay, Slim and Sassy. Some people roll their eyes when they see that name, and some people are like, ooh, their ears perk up. I wanna be Slim and Sassy. If you don't like the name, you can call it the Metabolic Blend, because that's what it is, and that's how it supports our body. It supports our metabolism. But it's so fun, which is, Slim and Sassy is a fun name, right? Because it does a lot of amazing things for us. Now, I want to share a little story about a young mom. She had, like me, dealt with infertility for years. So she was a mom at a later age. I think she was close to 40 when she had her little. And after her baby was born, she wanted to give that baby so much love, because she had waited so long, like I had, to have this little one. And she found herself exhausted, depleted, distracted, just wanting to sleep all the time. And when you want to love on this baby and you're feeling like that, it's a really unhappy combo. And she learned about this Lemon Sassy from her sister-in-law, and she tried it out. And I think she put a drop of it in her water in the morning, just one drop, and she drank it, and she was like, oh, I feel energized, I feel peppy. And she realized that early in the afternoon was a time where she just was depleted and exhausted again, especially when you're up nursing through the night and you have a baby that's not sleeping and they take a lot of care. And she had packed on some weight from pregnancy and it wasn't easily coming off. So she started having a drop of it in the afternoon. And even just putting a drop in her hands, breathing it in, and she's like, okay, I'm ready to go. And what she noticed was that in addition to having this brightness, this re-energized feeling in her body, she was also craving less of the coffee and the carbs and having more energy to go and do things with her child, which helped her brain chemistry be happier. And she was starting to lose weight more effectively. So that's kind of a really fun thing about the way these oils work. They don't just affect one thing. It's not just, oh, I use Slim and Sassy and it gets rid of my weight. It's, I use Slim and Sassy. It's helping me to have more energy. It's helping boost my mood. It's helping my metabolism. It's curbing my cravings. And it's doing all that by interacting with my body's chemistry to give my cells what they're really looking for when I reach for a cookie or a brownie or some chocolate. So let's take a deeper dive into this Lemon Sassy blend. It has peppermint in it. Peppermint is great for the whole digestive system. It's energizing. It also reduces spasms. So if our digestive system is spazzy and icky, it helps with that. It helps with muscle spasm and opening things up. And clinically, it's been seen to give 20% more oxygen to our bloodstream. So when we have more oxygen, when our brain has more oxygen, we feel more alert and energized. So a beautiful natural way to support our energy levels. It has ginger in it. Ginger has been used for millennia in foods, in teas, to stimulate the digestive system, to get it going, to light the fire in our gut, and to stimulate metabolism. So as we start to burn things, this helps us with a fat burning mechanism and with firing things up. It also helps with indigestion and nausea, just feeling icky in the belly. So we've got that great support and that heat in our belly, which helps to stimulate that digestion going. Ugh. Mouth. Let me take a sip of stuff. Okay, here comes lemon. I mentioned lemon before and last week, as something to just daily add one drop in your water in the morning. It is so good at supporting our lymphatic system, our cardiovascular system, our kidney and urological system, cleansing out, releasing, and clearing toxins, which is something we want, especially when we're wanting to burn fat, because remember, the fat is holding all the toxins in safe places for us. So if we want to clear them out, we want support that helps with the clearing. Lemon is our friend here. Grapefruit is another citrus, and the beautiful thing, and I don't even know how it works, guys, but I do know that it does work, that when you smell grapefruit, when you apply grapefruit oil, when you put it in your drink, it actually supports us in changing our relationship to our body and to food. It helps curb cravings is one way to say it, but it also helps us tune in to what does our body really want? Is that cookie really going to give me what I want? Or would reaching for an apple honestly feel better in the long run and the short run? Grapefruit somehow, and somebody probably has done the science on it, has some magic there. So it's your friend here. I love it. And I have seen and heard many people who say that they could never walk by a brownie without picking it up and eating it, even if they were full, because that craving was so strong. After they used Slim and Sassy for a while, had re-educated their body system, and they could look at that brownie and say, am I hungry? Do I really want it? And if the answer was no, they were able to walk past it. And some of these people were in their 60s, 70s, and they were like, this is the first time I've experienced that. So that's an amazing thing. This blend, something that's really wonderful to have on hand. Okay, last one is cinnamon. Cinnamon bark is studied, and when you look at, and I'm not, hear me clear, I'm not saying that this oil is for diabetes. I'm saying when you look at the research on diabetes, which is a problem with our metabolism of sugars in the bloodstream and our balance of sugars in the bloodstream, cinnamon has been researched to actually effectively support the pancreas and support our body's ability to manage its blood sugar levels. Okay, so I want to share just 2 stories about Slim and Sassy here. And I know I'm going a little longer than 30 minutes, but I hope that this is really useful information that you're appreciating and wanting. So I'm going to keep going. 2 quick stories about Slim and Sassy, particularly related to this cinnamon bark piece of it. One, is when our blood sugar is really low and we're reaching for anything that's going to give it some blood sugar. We're like getting hangry perhaps, or maybe we're feeling woozy because our blood sugar is too low. Oftentimes we'll reach for candy then. I'll reach for orange juice. But if we're on about, like those aren't necessarily available, a lot of times that's when we break down and we have things that we know aren't good for our bodies. I have seen smelling Slim and Sassy, not even ingesting it, although you could, and that would be helpful as well, but just smelling it was enough to help bring that blood sugar back into balance and reduce the hangry so that we could have a chance to feel okay whenever we didn't have the input we needed sugar-wise, and get to a place where we could make healthy food choices and support our bodies with those real foods. I've seen it stabilize that when someone was having a real low blood sugar moment where they were white as a ghost and they were kind of crumpled, and I had them smell it, and then we went and got food for them as well, and they just perked up like a flower that was wilted that just got water. So that blood sugar balance is super important for us. And having Slim and Sassy in our daily use is a way to support our body having a more stable blood sugar balance. On the opposite end, I was with some friends, and I've shared this story before, where we were at a party and we had brownies and we had soda and we had, stuff that gave us too much sugar in our system, and we felt that sugar buzz. Maybe your kids come home after Halloween and they've got that sugar buzz going on. Slim and Sassy, diffuse it. Put a teeny bit in something yummy for them, or put it in a roller and put it on their feet, because it, within 15 minutes, brought that sugar buzz down in me and all of my friends when we thought about it. And we're like, hey, wonder if this would work. We added a drop to our water, and sure enough, 15 minutes later, we were all feeling so much better. So this is just a little review of what I shared. It helps with metabolism, hunger cravings from the grapefruit, calms the stomach, that's our peppermint, purifies and cleanses the body, that's our lemon, and the blood sugar stuff with the cinnamon. So it comes in the oil or soft gels. So if you don't love the taste, or if you really want to make sure you're getting enough of it in your system because you're really working on stabilizing all these pieces, you can take the soft gels 1 to 3 times a day or 5 times a day if you're really working on helping the body clear things out. Add it to your water, take it in a capsule. You can put it directly on your tongue if you like that. Some people love spice and it is very invigorating. Some people, they're like, whoa, that's too much. Or the soft gels throughout the day. They do have a Slim and Sassy metabolic gum, which helps us in those in-between times as well. Helps with the cravings. And there's a drop of the Slim and Sassy. So all of the benefits of those oils can be supported through having this gum throughout the day as well. And the flavor does really last a good long time. Okay, last thing I want to touch on here is trim shakes. doTERRA has a couple different versions, and they are Slim and Sassy trim shakes. They help with controlling cortisol levels. Now remember, way back with, I forget when it was, the detoxic load piece, I think, and managing stress, the cortisol levels is what tells our body to hold on to fat, okay? And how this helps control cortisol is through something I'll share in a minute. It is low fat, so you're not going to be having extra fat stuff. Low glycemic load, so you're not going to have that blood sugar rush, which is great. It's got extra fiber, which helps our body cleanse and pull out the toxins. And no artificial stuff, which is yay. They have a vegan version because this, this one does have whey protein, which is common and a well-absorbed type of protein for many. But the vegan one has more pea protein and other plant-based proteins, which is great for people who are vegetarians. Pea, quinoa, and amaranth, which is great. Again, nothing artificial, and it doesn't have a flavor. It's kind of like a neutral flavor so that you can add your own flavorings in with smoothies and such. Now, the last thing I want to share about it is that it has a Centra trim in it, which is a patented ashwagandha thing. So ashwagandha is an amazing nutritional plant, that like root of that plant that is used in Ayurvedic medicine for supporting our adrenal glands. And it does that by helping stabilize things. So when we're feeling adrenal fatigue, where we reach for coffee just to keep going, ashwagandha helps us with a more natural energy support. And so that actually can help with managing that cortisol production. And that supports us in a whole interesting way there and helps us with curbing cravings. So really fun. Yep, just what I said. And helps with energy production, which is great too. Okay, so I'm gonna just share that there's lots of different fun trim shake recipes that you can find online. Here's one here where you're putting some peanut butter, the trim shake, agave, and rolled oats to make a protein bar out of it. So not only a smoothie, but you can make other things that could be healthier snacks that are going to give your body that extra support. So to kind of wrap that up, I just want to say I've shared a bunch of different tools. I hope that you recognize that no matter what's going on in your body, Slim and Sassy can be a great support. I know for my friend who was that young mama, she swears by it because it just helped give her what she needed to make those other changes in her life around food, around exercise and energy, so she could show up as the mom she wanted to be. And it had the beautiful benefit of helping restore her body to the weight that felt best for her. So that's really wonderful there. I'd love you to take a moment and just think about one of these changes. And remember that if you choose to do one thing at a time and you circle back to this, you look through your notes, you'll find that over time, you'll have real success. So please, choose to give yourself permission to make small changes and to let go of everything else. because I don't want you to feel like you need to do all these things right now. Because if you try to do them all right now, chances are, historically and statistically, you'll wind up quitting because it'll feel too overwhelming. So choose one. Maybe it's just starting with Slim and Sassy. That's a great place to start because it helps in all those different areas. Then once Slim and Sassy is part of your routine and your daily life and it's working for you, add a trim shake. Add a little more of the exercise in. Add some stress reduction in. Think about those different ways that can help. And then when you have these different pieces in place, maybe it's time at that point to move and do one of the 30-day cleanses. All right, so I'd love to hear feedback from you in what you're going to do. Christine, if you're on there and there's something that stuck out for you, I'd love you to pop on and just share that. And then we're going to stop this share and start a new recording for a little bit of business training. So I'm gonna figure out how to stop my share for a sec. And I'm gonna stop my recording. And we'll create a new recording for our business.